Attorney General, are you holding your nose and supporting this notwithstanding clause? I mean, how do you rationalize this? Your own father spoke out about it yesterday and has been for decades.
Well, two questions. 2 points. I am certainly not doing that. I am fully supportive of our government's decision to appeal the decision of the Superior Court, which we believe it was wrongly decided. And so we are appealing that case. And because time is of the essence, there is an election in the City of Toronto in a few short weeks. We have decided to use a tool that is available, is a legal tool that is available to the legislature. And so we are using that tool to ensure that we can get this election, that the people of Toronto have the rules that they need and clarity that they need for this election.
What do you say to your father?
And with respect to my father, his views on the notwithstanding clause have been well documented, and he loves he is open to the opportunity every time to be able to speak to those. He was opposed to the notwithstanding clause when it was introduced, but he recognizes, and he said yesterday, that it is a tool that is a legal tool that is available for democratically elected legislatures to use.
But he's worried about the courts being overridden as well, and he said that that's a fundamental part of our Constitution.
He made the point that it is a legal tool that is at the disposal of the legislature, and that's what we're doing. Time is of the essence. We need to make sure that the voters in Toronto have clarity around the election on October 22nd, and that's why we're using it. But we are appealing the decision, and it's going to go through the courts, and I can't see any more on that because it's a subject of appeal. But we are going through the courts.
Minister, other prominent progressive conservatives, other than your father, the former Prime Minister, are speaking out against this move, or will be speaking out against this move later today. I'm wondering, are you worried about the optics of this, the long-term stain that this could leave on the government's record, having, you've just got into office and you rushed to do the notwithstanding clause on something that wasn't even mentioned on the campaign trail? Aren't you concerned that the long-term damage that could be done to the party and to the government?
I'm worried about two things. One, I'm making sure that we appeal this decision because I believe, and our government believes, that it was wrongly decided. And I'm worried about making sure that the voters in Toronto have clarity on October 22nd around the rules governing their election. People will have opinions in politics on all sorts of policies. This is my job is to make sure that we have clarity on these issues.
Are you willing to invoke it again, and under what circumstances?
I can't speculate on what will happen in the future.
But you are, as Attorney General, willing to invoke it again?
I will not speculate on what will happen in the future.
Your premier
why is it so important to use this clause now to reduce the size of Toronto government? What are you afraid of happening? Like, what would happen to the people of Toronto if this didn't happen? I mean, it seems like everything would function at normal and you wouldn't have to use something so extreme right now. So what are you worried would happen in Toronto if you didn't use this right at this moment?
Well, as I said, we believe that the decision contained errors, and we're appealing the decision. The process of going through the appeal process can take some time, and we don't have the luxury of time. There's an extraordinary urgency involved with the election that's coming on October 22nd, and so we need to be able to provide certainty to the voters of the City of Toronto who will be going to the polls in a few short weeks.
Minister, do you have faith in the court system yourself?
People don't have a problem with an appeal. The appeal is fine. That's completely within your right. It's this clause that people have a problem with.
And this clause is a perfectly legal tool that is at our disposal as well.
Minister, do you have faith in the court system yourself? I mean, you're the Attorney General, but here you are willing to trump the court system. Do you have faith in the court system yourself?
I absolutely have faith in the court system, and that's why we're filing an appeal, and we're going to let the appeal run its course. Section 33 of the Charter is a tool that is available to us to use, and we have a very short timeline. We're facing an election on October 22nd.
Who has final say in this province, the court or the Premier?
Well, the people of Ontario have the final say in this province. That's the principle of our parliamentary democracy.
But in between those 4 years,
Section 33 was put into the Charter to give flexibility, to give that tool to legislatures who are democratically elected and advancing their public policy options to have that opportunity, to have that power to do so. And that is why we are invoking it in this case.